Guys, so making our first video here for BrightTech Automotive Lighting. We started business as a window tinting shop about 7 years ago, and with window tinting came the HIDs, and we realized that lights and darkening up your windows was usually the first two most effective upgrades that people make to their cars. Obviously, the sun coming inside, and then obviously. Having old school technology of halogen headlights, just not keeping up to par with the upgrades that manufacturers are making when they release HIDs. So with the last 7 to 5 years of research and development, we realized more research and applied development. Excuse me. We realized that there wasn't an actual HID company that was making high quality HID kits. Most of the time it was the same rebranded kit cloned over and over, and I don't even want to use the word clone. I think that there's just manufacturers out there overseas that can pump out 10,000, 15, 100,000 HID units, not really in the market to make a good kit. They're in the market to make a kit that can be sold fast. And what they started realizing, what we realized, was that at first they were making quality component kits from overseas, and then suddenly they realized that maybe they should make the components crappier in a sense, and that way people can end up buying more. And we started having customers coming in with cars that already had HID systems with burnt wires, flickering, one side was out, a bulb was out, a ballast was out. So, we brought our own kits, and, even with those, we realized that HIDs, aftermarket HIDs, go out a lot easy, until we realized that there's more to it than just a plug-and-play system. Each car, each manufacturer's wiring system is completely different from the next. Sometimes they're compatible, sometimes they're not. So we've had about almost every single make and model of cars, trucks come through here, and we have been able to develop a system for each and every single one that fits everybody's budget, but more importantly, that they have the reliability that they expect. The reliability of a halogen bulb is really good. It's current running through a coil that heats up and you get lights. That's it. With HIDs, you have 2 ballasts. You have the necessary wiring and the harness, and then you have the 2 bulbs. So it's a system, and then one of those things in the system fails, then it technically seems like the whole system failed. If the light bulbs are out, then it looks like your ballast and your harness are no good. So we reached out to BRILLIANTEK Automotive Lighting. They are out of, they're overseas, and they basically are a small tight group of engineers who pair themselves up with the manufacturer to be able to provide OEM spec ballast in the aftermarket world. If you guys have seen what an OEM spec ballast looks like versus a cheap DC kit from China, you guys are going to be in for a treat. So this is BRILLIANTEK's T2 lineup. This is one of our favorite HID ballasts that we carry here. If you're an installer, you love these ballasts. These ballasts here give you the flexibility to mount it somewhere presentable and then worry about the connections afterwards, because most installers know that when you're done installing an HID kit, there's a lot of harness left over that you end up either having to hide, zip tie to make sure. This allows you to mount the ballast nicely somewhere, whichever way you want. That way you can show off the logo and then show off that you have a really good high quality kit. Most people hide their ballast because they're ugly, cheap things that nobody wants to see. With this particular T2 ballast, it looks really presentable, and you would have no problem like opening up the hood and seeing this ballast somewhere near your headlight. It also has universal connections, so that way you can hook up a OEM style plug here, and then still be able to use these amp connectors for most HID bulbs. I also carry a D2 and a D1, D3 connector for here. We never recommend plug and play kits. Those are 99 if not 100% failure prone. We have our standard waterproof relay here. We use a dual relay, one relay per ballast, one input connection per ballast, and then also one power connection out per ballast. This double relay ensures that there's adequate power to each and every ballast, and there's a consistency with the power source, i.e. the battery. So these power cables that you see here will plug in directly into your to the ballast. This goes into the bulb, and like I said, with this ballast you have the ability to mount it somewhere correctly, somewhere nice, and then also somewhere where you can present it to your customer and say, this is your HID system, and it's really good looking. I'll go ahead and make a video, second video, excuse me, of our T3 retail spec ballast.